If you're new here, welcome. Subscribe. If you're not new here, thank you and welcome back. I'm going to cut to the chase because I honestly want this to be very short. I'm giving you guys today 8 reasons why I left Atlanta. People keep asking me, and I think it's fair to just create a YouTube video because when I moved to Atlanta, I got the apartment and everything. I told y'all, I had y'all in the loop, so it only made sense to make sure I continue to update you guys. So without further ado, I left Atlanta. My lease ended November 19th. It's December 7th currently. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I left Atlanta 2 weeks ago. I packed up my bags and I came back up north. The first thing, Atlanta has become super expensive. When I first got there, I got my apartment. I got it for like 15 something, 1580 if I'm not mistaken. If you haven't watched that video yet, go watch it. But it was 1500, right? And I felt like I got great quality, like leasing office was great. Everything was pretty solid. I ended up staying there for almost 3 years and I just felt like everything depreciated. Things got very expensive, but the quality got very, very bad. I don't mind paying for quality. That's one thing about me. I'll pay the price for anything that I think is worth it. What I don't want is to pay premium for a non-premium product. That's what you get in Atlanta, and I just wasn't with it. Number two, I feel like if you're making anything less than $70,000 in Atlanta, you're getting by. You're not really going to be able to live. So to live in Atlanta, you need to have at least $70,000. That's if you want to live in Atlanta, because people be like, oh, I live in Atlanta, but be out in like Dunwoody, be out in Covington, Georgia, be out in, what do you call it? Marietta. That's not Atlanta. If you want to live in the city of Atlanta, that's Buckhead. That's Midtown. I lived in Buckhead. That's downtown. You need about $70,000. Food is expensive. The cost of living is expensive. My 1 bedroom ended up being like $1,850 before I left. It's the third reason. Healthcare is terrible. Oh my God. That was it for me. When I got to Atlanta initially, I had an issue with the healthcare. I had to come back to New York to get my dental work done. I had to come back to see my gynecologist. I had to come back to, I don't know, but it was terrible. It was giving me a lot of independent practices that were pretending to be doctors that didn't really know anything, and people thought I was bugging. Like, my ex-boyfriend, he's originally from Atlanta, born and raised. And I was like, yo, the healthcare here is terrible. He's like, what do you mean? We have great doctors, yada, yada, yada. Well, he would go for his dental appointment. I'd set appointments for him, try several different locations. So you can't say, oh, maybe it's where you went. They're very unprofessional. They just don't like do proper work. I couldn't see myself starting a family in Atlanta because women's healthcare is terrible. When you're pregnant, I can't even go there. So if you care about your health, if you go for, annually, make sure like your eye exam. Shockingly enough, I will say this, I got LASIK eye surgery in Atlanta and I haven't had any issues with it. About a year ago, I think I did the procedure and my eyes feel okay, but I remember when I went for an exam to my eye surgeon, my whatchamacallit, I don't know. He was like, oh, there's something growing in your eye. You need to go back to the surgeon and have them look at it. So I went there and basically the surgeon was like, oh, your doctor don't know what he's talking about. Like, that's how crazy it is. But I digress. If you care about your health, that will be a problem for you. My fourth reason, the traffic is very, very terrible. If you live in Atlanta, again, people say they live in Atlanta, but do not really live in Atlanta. If you live in Atlanta, the traffic is terrible. Somewhere that takes 5 minutes, you'll spend your day spinning around in traffic to get anything done, because my ex and I, we grocery shopped in Decatur, where the DeKalb Farmers Market, the African market was out there, Namdeman was out there. So we would go there, but we would have to tell ourselves we need to leave early in the morning because we both work from home. But if we were to leave after work, oh my goodness, dinner wouldn't even be a thing. We would have to pick up dinner on the way or eat dinner somewhere. Like, it was just really terrible, and I feel really bad for the people that have to commute, that don't have the, the luxury of working from home. So I personally did not want to spend my time in traffic just to get from point A to point Z. It feels like you're getting to Z when you're really not. So my fifth reason was creating genuine relationships. For me, when I got to Atlanta, I just felt like people were just broke, for real, for real. People were getting by. People were always, they were like, they will size you up. And I didn't feel like things were genuine. Like, I walked away from Atlanta with, I think, 4 or 5 genuine friends in my almost 3 years of living there. Actually, 4 people. Other than that, it just felt like people were just really fake. People were pretending to be things that they weren't. At first, when I got there and I was just looking for, like, oh, just kind of, I'll invest, try to help me with my business before I got into corporate. But it was like a cutthroat dog eat dog world. Like, you meet celebrity dudes that think you're cool. They want to hang out with you, but don't really want to help you promote your brand unless you're given the kuka. And you meet the females who I thought they were threatened, so they weren't trying to put me on. But what I came to find out was a lot of them really wasn't doing well like how they say they are. But that's neither here nor there. So I had a hard time creating genuine relationships. I mean, I made a few, and I think that's more than enough, right? But that was another reason why I left. Atlanta is very much party city, very much like day party centric. Unless you're going to like an elegant place to just like chill, you will find yourself in a whole bunch of rowdy situation. Everybody's smoking hookah at the spot. A lounge is really not a lounge, like it's a club. And that's not a scene that I care too much for anymore. If I want to go to a lounge, I genuinely want to go to a lounge to lounge around, get like a glass of wine or something. I don't want to listen to loud music. Like it's just very party centric, and that's not an interest that I have personally. I just feel like if you want to party, you want to have a great time every freaking weekend, be out in the clubs, then it's definitely the city for you. You're gonna pay premium for that. And that's another thing, people be out to get you. Like, the girls don't really be having money how they say they are. So if they go into the club, they trying to finesse niggas. And I went out with a few girls who legit didn't have their own money, was dependent, oh, we're gonna get this dude to pay for ourselves. And sweetie, what if, okay, we're just gonna leave that alone. The seventh reason, the city is very suffocated. Before I moved, my ex and I, we weren't contemplating, we had got a place out in Decatur. We were gonna move to Decatur, outside of the city. It was much quieter, it's a lot more elegant. You're not listening to police sirens, you don't have to deal with crazy traffic. Everything you need is just right there. It's 20 minutes outside. And I couldn't, it's not for me, right? And I understand, if that's a fast moving city, low quality, low vibrational things, if that's your interest, then Atlanta definitely is a for you. But it just wasn't for me. Not in this season. The eighth one would be, I didn't really have anyone there. Like, I made friends, absolutely, but really, my friend Brittany lived out in Covington, so I didn't even meet her. I met her on LinkedIn. that's exact. Like, I met her on LinkedIn. That's how, like, for you to find genuine people that actually care about you, that just fit me and my style. That's the type of places I'd have to go, or through like a friend, a professional friend who knew me as an individual and would recommend. So I met Brittany was through a referral. A coworker I work with at my cybersecurity company referred her, like, oh, you guys have the same style. I think you'll like her. I think she'll also like you. And we linked up, and Brittany is amazing. But she's out in Covington, Georgia. Marcel, I met in my building. He's also really great, but I met him in my building. Mariah is also in my building. We're not like, we went to Pilates class a few times together, but she goes back and forth to Cali quite a bit. And then Elvin, I met through a referral from my uncle. So yeah, all my friends are through referrals. I haven't went out to like a function and met somebody there. The ones that I did meet, it was just given very much weird. Yeah, so that was my reason for leaving Atlanta. I don't know if I will be back. I did bring all my things with me and they are currently in storage. Atlanta is low key. It's one thing I will say. Though it's expensive, you can make a lot of money. You if you work in corporate, I can the entrepreneur side, I did well in New York. I legit did very well in New York than I did in Atlanta entrepreneurially when it comes to being an entrepreneur. But corporate, I did very well, right? And what I will say is that Atlanta is really great for corporate. If you want solid corporate jobs, like real life salaried jobs, you'll find those in Atlanta. You just got to break into the tech industry. I don't know about any other industry. I can't speak about it, but the tech industry is up and booming out there. You easily get like a 100 grand salary just living in Atlanta. Yeah, y'all. I hope that this has been insightful. I hope that, if you do decide to move to Atlanta, just kind of take those into account. Again, things like healthcare may not be everyone's experience because people are used to different quality of things and what they require is different, right? Um, but yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm having a very hard time keeping this girl up. I did my hair, y'all, all by myself, and the skin is definitely skinning and glowing. Bye, guys.